What's good,
Mhm.
fam? Welcome back to Relationship Realities with your host, Texas Brown Sugar. And
Mhm.
I am very fortunate enough to have my wonderful, wonderful brother, uh,
Mhm.
Jammer, straight out of Fresh Out
Mhm.
podcast. Make sure you check them out every Wednesday. Here on Relationship Realities, we are going to have very candid conversations. We're going to dig deep. We're going to laugh hard about and get real about what it takes to get be in a healthy marriage. So
Mhm.
grab ahead, get your snacks, whatever drink you might have,
Whatever you sipping
get
on.
comfy because we are going to dig
Mhm.
deep. Jammer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? First of all, I'm glad to be back on here
Mm,
again and chop it up. It's,
yes.
it's a good little step away from what I usually be doing on Wednesday. So, but I always have fun talking relationship stuff or just anything that has to deal with men and women as far as like where we can get better and kind of like how we can move forward to bring our two sexes together to make sure that we are upholding our family to the best possible ability.
Definitely, definitely. It takes two to tango.
It
So
takes two.
we love having the male perspective. So
Hmm.
welcome, welcome. Before we get into some of the videos that we're going to react to, I want to pause for the calls and introduce you to Bowie Insurance Agency. Ebony Bowie is a trusted agent who we use for both our business as well as our personal insurance, auto, home, life. And
Salute to Ebony.
she is definitely hands down one of the best agents out there. Give her a call for a free quote, free 99,
Free.
y'all. It doesn't take that much.
Free.
She has something for you. Give her a call, 281-721-4892. She'll
You
get
know,
you.
we like free stuff too. You know
Of
how our people do.
course. It only takes a call. Just a call.
Hmm.
All right, Gemma, let's get into this first video.
Let's
I
dive
must
into it.
say, when I saw this one, I had never heard of this, but it makes sense. But
Yeah,
let's
it
watch
does make
this
sense.
video.
It makes sense.
This advice is going to help with that. 24-hour rule says if something's bothering you, regardless of whether it's big or small, you have to make one of two choices. Option number one, you bring it up within 24 hours of it happening. Option number two, you don't bring it up within 24 hours, but you have to let go of it completely. That means not bringing it up.
Okay, first of all, black women, I know we got a problem with this
That
because
ain't going down. That
because I
ain't
I
going
know
down.
myself. I love to bring stuff up from like 2-3 months ago.
Man, sometimes 2, 3, 4 years ago, that some women like black women like you know.
Later in a totally separate argument unless it becomes a big pattern that happens later again in the future.
Okay, so this young lady here, shout out I to all the creators that I have here. I do have their social media handles noted in the description below so that if you are interested in learning more about them and their platform, please feel free to check them out. I love to give creators um their credit. I know it takes a lot for us to get up here and do our thing, but
Hmm.
24-hour rule. So we either can say something within 24 hours or we don't say anything at all.
Well, let it go.
Unless she did give it, unless it
It's
becomes,
a
I guess,
pattern.
a pattern. Um, Jeremy, I know this is hard for women, period. But
Hmm.
is that something that you think can easily be implemented, or maybe you guys, maybe you and your wife implement this now?
Hmm. Well, I mean, there's two lines of thought here. because if you don't say anything, you can just be enabling. You know what I'm saying? And we were always raised to handle things when you need to handle things, which is usually when it takes place. We teach our children that.
Yeah.
You know, like if your children's doing something reckless, you got to correct that behavior immediately, or that behavior can become a pattern, like this young lady said. But I also get it from a perspective of sometimes cooler heads prevail,
Mm,
because there could be some things happening, or there can be just a misunderstanding. You don't have all the information. You know, this happens to me. I'm pretty sure it happens to you when somebody sees something, they come home wilding. Well, this wasn't
mhm.
here. What's going on? Where did this come from? And somebody else, you know what I'm saying, made the mistake. So sometimes like waiting that 24 hours though gives you a moment to process, to kind of take things in, just to make sure that you get all the information, because you if you fly off the handle and it's really not somebody's fault, or it's really not something that's necessary to address,
Yeah.
it can cause other issues with communication. Then that person can start to become standoffish. They don't even want to, they can feel like they're walking on eggshells. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that can come from that. But on the flip side, if we don't address things, that's called over communication. And I feel like
Mm.
in a relationship, you have to be able to communicate, even the small little things, because the small
Man.
little things is typically what breaks up a happy home. You know,
And
and
that's
we
big
are not
what you just
understanding.
said.
You know,
Yeah. Communication. That's key. I know sometimes there are some things though that you can't wait 24 hours to
facts.
address. Some things need to be addressed right then and
Listen,
there.
some money come up missing from the account, you know that's gonna get addressed. You
But
know,
we
if you
needed them
share an account with
shoes.
somebody, things is
But
gonna
we
get
needed them
addressed real quick.
shoes. Yeah, yeah. I wholeheartedly understand because, like you said, there's a lot of things that are unknown. Some things we
Mhm.
need to um kind of research before we come to y'all. And I could see how this works because in the heat of the moment, you just bam,
Hey,
you don't think about anything. You're quick to anger, and that's never a good thing. I know I probably need to implement this to my own marriage simply because I will hold on to stuff until I like literally blow up, where it's I could have addressed it beforehand as opposed to waiting
waiting.
days or weeks because it happened again or it happened for the third time. And I'm like, look, I held my tongue. I didn't say
Mhm.
this X, Y, and Z, but it's bothering me now. And that's never good because
It's not.
I let it get, I let it boil up and get to me. But yeah, definitely. And I'd never heard of this 24-hour rule, but it's interesting. I'm gonna have to let y'all know how this works out.
You gonna try to implement that and see?
I am. I really am because I do have an issue with letting stuff boil up, and I'm not even going to.
It might
Uh,
bless you then to
you know what?
be on
It
this.
might. It
It might.
might because I think this will work well with my other relationships, like my work relationships.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out. I know my husband. And then now I'm like, am I gonna become a complainer?
He
It's a
probably
thing.
gonna be looking behind the shoulder a lot more, but I think as he kind of gets used to what this is, like, hey, bro, I'm just addressing issues. That's all. This ain't nothing personal. It's just addressing the issue, just to make sure that we have open communication about it. That's all it is. Effective communication is how I would sell it. If he starts saying you starting to complain too much, I just say it's just open communication, bro. That's all it is.
You're right. I think it's about the way I approach it. I
Mhm.
I have to approach it in a way that is
This is
very.
for us.
It's not
This is.
condescending. These are the issues
Mhm.
I have. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see how this works.
That's big of you, though. I mean, I salute you for that, for just
Yeah,
trying
'cause I
to.
identify that I got a
Yeah,
problem. I let
Yeah,
stuff
yeah. I mean, you able to look in the mirror and say, "Look, I know I need some brushing. I'm a little rough on the edges here. I need to smooth this out a little bit." So yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
respect that.
Oh man. On to the next video. I kind of thought this was
Mm,
interesting. And so the
speak.
question we want to pose to the audience, do couples give up on marriage too soon? And not only marriages, but relationships, because a lot of people, aren't even looking to marry, but are we giving up too easily? And here, the gentleman gave some probably sound advice. Let's check this out real quick.
You're a young couple and you're going through some things and you're like, man, we must be the worst couple in the world. We must be the worst married folks out there. This has got to be, man, we just ain't got it. Of course you ain't got it figured out. When you hit 30, you still ain't 30 years of marriage, you still ain't gonna have it all figured out. My wife and I are still trying to figure stuff out. And we just take it as it comes, and we learn and we mature and we grow, and it takes time. But you'll not get there if you quit.
Mm. It's dope advice for real.
Yeah. I Those who watch my show regularly know I always give the advice. You have to find someone who is going to be able to stay in the rain with you. Y'all know my favorite
Mhm.
song, I said the Temptation.
You know
Can
addition.
you stand the rain? New edition. Because and a lot of times you don't know whether or not that person can stand the rain if you're not in the
Mhm.
relationship with them long enough.
You got me in
I
the
think
trenches
we
with them.
give up way too soon.
Mm.
I totally agree. I think we're in a generation where people don't put in the work. And that's just not only in relationships, but in general, nobody wants to put the work in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think we're putting in the work that's necessary? Are we giving up too easily? Because I know a lot of guys are, saying, "Oh, we don't want to get married because they're gonna take everything from us." I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But the question is are you willing to put in the work to keep the
Right.
marriage?
Right. I mean, a lot of it, honestly, is like learned behavior.
Mhm.
Because, like, when I think about my own parents, like your parents too, my parents been together ever since I've been alive. So I've
Mhm.
always been able to see what a good working, healthy marriage looks like. Because my parents, yeah, they argue, but they work at it. Because sometimes they be getting in arguments. I'd be like, I don't know if this one's gonna last to next week, but then they think I know they acting like ain't nothing ever happened.
We
Like my
still
grandparents
together.
were married for as long as they were living. So on both sides. So in my family, at least, we've had a lot of examples of what
Mm,
hard working relationships look like. But to your point, when you said there's men out there saying, well, she's just going to try to take my money. But there's
yeah.
also now a generation of that. We're witnessing, we're living in a full generation of people who have lived that. I
Mm,
have friends personally who got babies mamas and it never has ended well for them. Like they was in court, even though they were seeing their children all the time. But it's like we're letting like intermediaries get in the way of our relationships and being able to work things out. And people like like the man said, like they just don't want to balance that. They don't want to see that there really is an opportunity if we just sit down and, like we said last time, communicate. You got to communicate and talk about the real issues that bother you, because again, it's always the small things. There's never anything major. It's
mm,
always them little things that prevent people, like maybe not being honest about money, or not being honest about a job situation, or just not wanting to burden somebody else in the relationship, because we
yeah.
always feel like we're burdening our partner, and it's not. It's more than it's not just a partnership, it's a union. When you take them vows, you saying that not only in front of God but in front of your whole family. Like you're saying, I'm going to be there through thick and thin. That
Yeah,
is your vow.
yeah.
So we don't work hard at that. It's not a thick and thin anymore. We're willing just to
Mm,
say, you know what, it ain't working. Like he's on some BS, she's on some BS. I'm out. Sometimes it takes just sitting down and talking about it with no
yeah,
phones, no TV, no nothing. Like we just sitting there in front of each other and
yeah.
we're actually having a real conversation.
And that is it's easier to give up. It's
Hmm.
much harder to put the work in, and it reveals when you put the work in, that means you got to work on yourself.
Hmm. Gotta
Like
be honest with yourself.
you have to be for real. Like I would always go into relationships thinking, oh, I'm the best girlfriend ever.
You ain't
Yeah,
gonna never get nobody
no.
like me.
Right. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be quick to say that. Shh, I ain't worried because he ain't never gonna find nobody like me.
And there's always somebody willing to grind just enough and
Uh,
harder than you.
Yeah,
We should always humble ourselves when it comes to that.
very much. And I know I get a lot of pushback because I tell people all the time, whenever you break up in a relationship, there is something that you could have done better.
Absolutely. No
Nobody
doubt.
is perfect.
No
So
doubt.
find what it is that you could have done better so that you don't repeat that in the next relationship.
Yep.
And a lot of people have problems with that because that means that now you have to look internally. You have to look at yourself and be
Yep.
like, what did I mess up? He's the one that, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
went out and messed with homegirl, not me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard. Stephanie Lee, she said that was definitely the truth. 100, even after 30 years. It depends on what they have done.
That
You're right.
last part after that period.
After-
There is there's a guardrail in place, like you just can't you can't come out and just kill somebody and then try to come home and be like, well, I just got mad that day, and you expect me to clean evidence and hide you now, like that's crossed. There's a line that somebody's got to cross. I'm not saying I'm going to
yeah,
work
yeah.
out some situations aren't workable. We
I
just have to
agree.
do it. There's
Agree.
a line of demarcation somewhere where it's not workable. Like we out of here.
Yeah. Can't go that route. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I just it but like you said, sometimes it's just the little things
Hmm.
that people are quick to dismiss someone.
Bounce on, yeah.
Oh, he didn't remember my birthday. How could he
Mm,
do that? You know, I'm done with him. And
that's a good one too.
I think we need to give a little grace. We're
Mhm.
human. We're all human. We're not perfect. And we definitely need to communicate.
Yep.
Man, if y'all don't get anything from this tonight, communication
Yep.
is key. Um moving on to our next topic. This has been a kind of a real heated topic. And so within social media, Cardi B and Offset have gone viral multiple times.
Multiple.
But recently, with Cardi B, allegedly with another guy while she was pregnant,
Hmm.
Offset messing around. They're on social media. She's on Instagram Live, telling
Hmm.
the story, and he's on there, commenting, and a lot of stuff gets said. And then I happen to see this video, and I know I'm telling my age, but when my husband and I first got together, social media wasn't a huge thing. So for me to ask or even consider, do I need to have social media rules? Like it, like what? Why? But
Hmm.
now I think I might have to reconsider something. But let's check out what
Yeah.
this young lady had to say.
I want you to follow anybody that's had yours in their mouth. Like, am I crazy? Let's talk about my social media boundaries in my relationship as a retired crash out. Liking pictures is a no. I'm not naive to the fact
Okay. Y'all might have to school me in the chat. What is a crash out? I don't know. But let's continue.
that men are going to recognize the beauty of women. We are beautiful creatures. There are so many beautiful women in this world. I'm sure you see beautiful women on Instagram all the time. It's inevitable. You don't need to be liking any of their pictures though. If you are liking a girl's picture that you don't know, that you're not friends with, that's not your family, you are letting them know
It's a different level
I
of
like what I
insecurity,
see.
shorty.
To me, that's disrespectful. So we're not doing that. I've had the conversation with my man about him not needing to be following any girls that he only followed because he thought was cute or was trying to talk to or whatever before me. At the time, it's like, okay, you were single, you followed girls thinking that you was trying to go smack, whatever the case may be, even though it literally makes me want to throw up thinking about that. It was before me, but now that I'm here, they gotta go. So what we did, he was completely fine with it. We went through his following list together and he explained who the girls were, whatever. It sounds
I don't know, Jammer. That was a bit excessive.
I see why relationships don't work now. Like she's got a list. She got a grocery list of rules that sound like a personal problem. Like
It sounds like a trust issue.
it sounds like a personal issue that you can't even let your dude like a picture. Like, what if he likes the product? You know, what if it's somebody modeling a product and he wants to buy it for you, but he can't like it? Come on now. And I guarantee you, if it was somebody who she felt was not attractive, like, you know, in her brain, she probably wouldn't have an issue with it. That's what it sounds like to me that I'm hearing from what she's saying. It sounds like there's certain, like you have to fit the criteria for to have these rules. I don't understand why she's that competitive. Like it's, you know.
She's got more.
Okay.
Let's see what the other rules are.
like a lot of, oh, you made him go through all his followers. No, it's really simple. And ever since we did it, we never had to do it again. We don't even talk about social media because we did it once and we got it out the way. He unfollowed all the girls that he had no business following, and that was that. Now he only follows me, family, and his girlfriends that he knows. Like, and obviously whatever guys he wants to follow, but we're talking about girls right now. We have a rule in place where we don't follow any new people. We're not doing that, oh, I see my man's following go up and it's a new girl and she looks like an Instagram model. I spent my 19 through 21 dealing with that pain, that feeling like you're going to throw up. I'm not spending the rest of my life doing that. So we made that rule. Nobody else knew. You don't need to be following no girls from here on out that you don't know. Lastly, exes and situationships. Absolutely no following anybody you did anything with in the past. That's also not a crazy ask. All of these rules were set in place in the beginning of our relationship. I made it extremely clear what I'm not dealing with. You're not following your ex. You can go ahead and unfollow anybody that you've ever done anything with that has ever had you remotely close to the way that I have you now. Zilch, nada. We're not doing that. When you stray from your boundaries, that's when men think that they can play with you. Don't ever let them think that. And from what I've learned and experienced, a real man that deserves you and respects you is going to listen to what you have to say, value what you have to say, and put it into action. A real man's not going to want to make you sad. Remember, what works in my relationship might not work in yours. I'm just here to share the stuff that I put in place into my relationship that makes it work so well, that keeps us healthy, that keeps us communicating well, that keeps us versus the problem rather than me versus him. These are not difficult things to do. So if he's making it seem like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world, I might as well just delete my whole account. Leave him.
Okay, probably the realest thing that she said was that this is what works for her and it may not work for everybody.
I was just going to say that. Yes. Because she sounds like a bully. That's what she sounds like. She's using experiences from past relationships to punish her new relationship, which is basically what we just talked about. Like when you do end a relationship, is learning from that, looking in the mirror and say, you know what, I played a part in this too of why it didn't work. not leaving another relationship and then enforcing rules and guardrails on your new person because of what impacted you before, not even allowing that person to even, it's like we not even equal. Like they're like we don't bring anything to the table at the same time. You bring all the bread. You bring the everything. I'm just you telling me what I can and can't do off top. He's
Mm.
gonna cheat on her like immediately. He
Not
just is like I
immediately.
immediately. That's somebody that young lady. I would hate to break her the bad news and be honest, but your dude's gonna cheat on you because you telling him everything he shouldn't be doing. That's what he's going to end up doing because you're trying to put the noose around his neck.
So let me ask you this. Do you think there should be any boundaries when it comes to social media?
Yeah, I mean, I firmly believe in boundaries. Like if both people agree to it, that's
Yeah.
another thing that she said that I will say that I agree. If both of you all come to the table and you agree with it, yes. But in her statement or in her soliloquy, there was a lot of I want, I want, I want. There's a lot of I's. I didn't hear not one we. I didn't hear not one we in her whole diatribe. There's a lot of I's. That's why I said she gonna get cheated on because there was no we. I'm like, man, like, where are your rules? Like, you should have said, well, we both have agreed that we're going to do this. So that goes to me too. I can't like any dudes. It just sounds like, but hey, like she said, whatever floats her boat, that's cool. But yeah, there should be boundaries though to answer that question. I mean, you just can't let somebody just be reckless on social because social media can't swallow you up. And there's
Mm,
people who will try
right.
to harm you on social media. There were people they'll set up a trap, try to get you to do certain things, and like you end up giving somebody your number, and then they looking up everything on you. Then they
Mhm.
calling your special someone saying, hey, so and so been hit me up, and it really may not even be that. Like so and so sliding in my DMs, taking screenshots. It's like people are crazy like that now. So, that there definitely should be boundaries, just as a level of protection, just for your own personal
Personal.
identification too, man. Because people will, there's some savages out here
Oh yeah, yeah.
for both
Yeah.
men and women
Of
for falling
the
traps.
rules that she has imposed, I I probably would agree with I don't want you following your exes. I don't I don't see that as beneficial.
What if they
I
had like
think
a
I
business
would have a
relationship
problem with
though?
that one.
What if the exes have a business relationship though? Like when I say business, like strictly business, like it's just foundational, getting bread. Like there's nothing else going down. Like they don't even like really see each other like that, but they can still do business,
Yeah.
from an email or from a text, whatever
Yeah.
that they got going on.
So I think I still would have a problem with it. And this is probably one of the things I wouldn't say anything about.
Hmm.
I would communicate. I'm not too easy, about this relationship, but I also understand that we got to make that money.
Hmm.
And if that means that I have to set my emotions to the side so that we can make this bag, we can get this money,
Hmm.
I'll do so. But I will also be like, I'm a little uneasy about this relationship,
Hmm.
and I'd rather you not spend as much time with X, Y, and Z. Like I'll
Hmm.
communicate that to you.
Completely get that.
I'm not gonna tell you straight up no because mama needs a new purse.
Yeah.
But
I
it
mean, if
would
you spending
as a
time, then
woman, it would genuinely be difficult.
mhm.
Uh, and I really would have to trust. And I do trust. And I think that's where communication and trust comes in at.
Mhm.
I think and I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge, but when I see people who set these rules up for these relationships as such, I think there's a little insecurity. And
For
matter of fact,
sure.
Stephanie stated insecure. There's definitely a trust
For
issue.
sure. For sure.
And ladies, we have to understand who we are. We have to know that he is here with us now. We are the catch. And a lot of times that's hard
Yeah.
for us to be in present, be in the moment. A lot of times we want to look back.
Yeah.
And I I've done that many times. And we gotta look forward.
It's good that you said that though, because I would say 99% of men like a confident woman. Like
Hmm,
that, like Shorty that was just given that had the grocery list of rules.
yeah.
She did not seem like somebody to me who was confident. It's like, so you mean to tell me I'm coming home with you every night, but you worried about a like there's extremities when it comes to like insecurity. And she
Yeah.
was on the extreme side to where it's like, we can't even really have a productive relationship. Like if you this uptight and you have so little faith in me that I'm gonna step out, but yet I'm coming home with you every night.
Mm,
I chose you, like you said, like you to catch. So basically, what you're saying is you not really a catch, and I should maybe catch something else. That's what it sounded like she was saying. It's like you just didn't seem like you had any like, you want somebody who's gonna stand firm. Like, oh, I know you ain't worried about that girl. She ain't got nothing on me. If she would have gave a list of the things that she does for her man, like this good, I'd be like, okay, I know he ain't going nowhere. But she made it seem like she put in everything for him not to leave. That's the wrong
mhm,
approach.
mm.
That's the wrong approach.
So what about when we're having issues? We airing them out on social media?
That's something I definitely don't believe in because I don't think that's fair to either person.
Mm,
And I was always told, before I got married, like this was like the advice like OGs gave me, like a day, 2 days before I got married, was like, look, keep people out your business. Don't
mhm,
broadcast your marriage issues to your family, to your friends. Like y'all keep that in house, and it's
yeah,
going to be easier for y'all to navigate that. Versus you start to navigate that, you start to air it out in public. Then you got all these opinions. Oh, well, you need to leave him, or man, go ahead and get rid of her. Then you start getting people in your ear giving you horrible advice.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not down with that at all because you can expose somebody to a point to where they could lose their job. It's a lot of things that you can really hurt somebody by airing out stuff like that. Like that's what's personal should be personal. What's private should be private. It should be kept in house. But look, we live in a different era now. I mean, what these
yeah.
kids do, they don't care even if it makes them look bad. Sometimes the person doing the airing the dirt looks worse. So,
Mm.
but it's what they do though.
Yeah, I mean, Cardi B and Offset, everybody
Perfect
is in their
example.
relationship now. Everybody,
Hmm.
the entire world.
Yep.
I don't know. Stephanie says, and she was pretty too. That was a turnoff.
She
Every
was
time he's
pretty.
a
Like that's the
little late and you start tripping.
as soon as she opened her mouth, like that, all that beauty just went away. It's like she put a mask on after that. It's like you couldn't see her face no more. It's like you just got a black background right here in front of your face. Because you just start popping off about stuff that like is irrelevant. At the end of the day, like you worried about a like
Yeah.
that to me was like, okay, I don't know how far her relationships are really going to go because now like she's going to be watching his phone like a hawk. Why she's putting on makeup, like you trying to beauty yourself up to be that one, but you worried about everything
Well,
that
I
he's
mean,
doing.
if
Like
she's watching the likes and I mean the followers and the followers don't go up, then we ain't got a
sometimes you
problem.
get what you're looking for. sometimes you get what you're looking for,
Mhm.
and that's what you wanted because you want it to happen. It's like you trying to force something, like you trying to force something to an existence, and sometimes it ends up happening because you
Mm.
applying all this pressure on your partner. Same thing goes with men. Like men shouldn't be doing that either to their women. It's like, bro, if she chose you, honor that, be happy. Like
Mm.
it's a lot of dudes out here who don't have the opportunities, man, to get somebody who is exotic. It's a bunch of dudes who want what you got. Like that should make you feel empowered with your woman.
Power. Hmm.
But if you worried about hiding behind bushes and following her everywhere she go, then you just get what you ask for sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, social media is a total different beast than when it was when my husband and I were dating, and I can say I probably wouldn't have as many rules, but I probably would set some boundaries. Some
Yeah,
boundaries,
you
like
got to. You got
hey,
to. I mean,
can we pull back on that little comment?
yeah, like there's a boundary for respect. And now that
Agree, agree.
corporate America is monitoring social media. You got to have boundaries, like not
Mhm.
for yourself, but for your loved ones, for your kids. Like social media is a place that has to have boundaries, and it's too much of an open platform for you to say and do anything as you please.
Please, and it never goes away. It,
Mm-mm.
it it's
It's there,
there forever.
digital footprint is sitting
Digital
out there.
footprint. Man, I'm trying to teach my children that. And that's another thing. What happens when Offset and Cardi get back together again? They have a very much they have a very interesting relationship. And I have a
They do.
feeling that they're gonna get back together. So
I
they
have a
get back
feeling
together. What
that
happens
too.
then? You know?
The same a cycle that's taking place now. I can only imagine those two beautiful kids they got. They got two or three. I can't remember now.
Oh, three.
But they gonna get older, and they gonna again. It's digital footprints. So they can go back. Somebody gonna be teasing them in school, or your mama's doing this, or your dad is doing this. And they're gonna see it. Then they're gonna start to be resentful too. So
Mhm.
you got to be careful what you put on social media because your kids will see it too. Like most people like that don't think about that, but when you out here wilding and you twerking, you doing all this old crazy stuff on social media, and it's like, girl, you out here raising children too. Like you really need to be worried about that. You trying to tell a story to make your man, well, your ex dude look bad, but you really look horrible with what you doing because you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're doing this for likes or you know capping whatever she was doing. But it's like, come on, you better than this, Cardi B. Like I know you are.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me today and
Mm-hmm. Appreciate the
reacting to
time.
some of these. So I hope that we have given you some insight into what can help bring you into a healthy marriage. We love
Mm-hmm.
comments. Let us know what you like to talk about next. I will be here every week giving you something, whether it be reaction videos or an upload of a lesson learned from uh, my marriage itself. And I'm always trying to get the male perspective. And so I appreciate you, Jammer.
Mm-hmm.
The Jammer, again, can be found on Fresh Out
Mm-hmm.
podcast every Wednesday. And you have an album coming out, right?
Me and my guy, we do. We got a little
Okay.
album dropping
And
on
where can they
Halloween.
cop that at? Make sure I put that in the chat there.
You can cop really to be on all social media platforms, and the project is
Excellent.
called Jason, JSON. Campfires on a Sunday. Sunday is SONDAY. But you'll be able to find it on all streaming platforms. October the 31st at midnight. It will be there.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes,
Let's
a little
see.
little, little spooky situation.
Let's do it. Love
Hmm.
it. Love it. Love it. Thank y'all for joining me. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see y'all next week.
Next time, same bat time, same